That day shall not come, except there be a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Who is the man of sin? Now look at that name. Which one will survive the war of Armageddon? In 1972, in this very place, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad went into that word. Let's look at it. The first three letters, not this. Your arm is your strength, but it represents arms and armies. Armageddon. Armies, he said, gathered together for the doom. Armageddon. Now all the armies of the earth now are getting ready. Let me go right into that. Now, my dear Christian family, I hope that you will not say that we are enemies of Christians, because the Quran does not say that. The Quran says those who are Christians and those who are Jews and those who are Sabians, those who believe in Allah in the last day, they have their reward from their Lord, and there is no fear for them, nor shall they grieve. If you follow Jesus as Jesus would have you follow him, you don't have to be afraid in an hour like this. I'm saying this to Christians who are white or non-white. But you can't play with Jesus, because he's not to come, he's present. And to be very frank about it, I represent him. Haven't you ever noticed when I preach Jesus, pastors say, boy, he preaches Jesus better than we do sometimes. How could I preach a man if I don't know a man? I could tell you a vision that I had. I think I will. I know that the wicked are calling me nuts, and he's gone over the bridge. Well, okay. I'm going to deal with that in a second. But look at this, and I want to deal with those who call me nuts. They've been getting a pass, but not after today. I don't know whether you've ever had an out-of-the-body experience, but in my life as a Muslim, I've had at least 4. And in this out-of-the-body experience, I was taken to Rome. And I had never been to Rome at that time, but I saw the stones of the Vatican, and 3 men dressed in robes came down and asked me if I would like to sit down with the Pope. And I said, well, I better call my leader. And I got on the phone and called the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is all in a vision. And he told me to go. So I went up, and the Pope took me into an office that was very small. It was evidently off of a main office. It had a wooden table with chairs around it. The Pope sat at one end, and he sat me at the other end, and two of his either secretaries or staff were to his left. And he said, quote, "I have been listening to your preaching." He said, "Your preaching is very near correct." And I said in my mind, well, Elijah Muhammad said I made a few mistakes in my preaching, so that's true. He said, "Listen, that man," talking of Elijah Muhammad, "he's more than what you all think. Listen." And he said, "He's God Almighty." And then he looked at me and said, "And you're in the book too." I knew exactly what he was talking about. He mentioned the book of Daniel. And then he said, "I want you to give him a gift from me." And he went in the cabinet to his left and took out a black box. And in it was a black pearl that was the size of an egg. And he said, "Give this to him. He'll know what it means." In the experience, I came back to Chicago to see the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and when he came out, I fell to my feet, to my knees, and kissed his foot, because here was a man that was my teacher, and now he lifted me to the point where I could sit down and have a conversation with the leader of all Christendom and have that man confirm the identity of the man that I follow. Now, what he was actually saying, without saying it, he said, "And you're in the book also." Immediately it came to my mind, I know exactly what he's talking about, because the man that he was looking at was the real Father. Listen, listen, listen. The real bridge to Christ is not the man in Rome. Just listen, just listen. You've never heard me say this before. I came to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now this division is over. Now I go to his table, and around him are some of his laborers, secretaries, and I mentioned to him my experience, and the only thing I left out, because of who was around the table, the part that he said, "And you're in the book also." I left that out. He took a spoon and he hit the glass. The glass is crystal, so it rang like a bell. And he told everybody at the table, "Listen to what he's saying." In that dream, I gave him the gift from the Pope. He took it in his left hand, and then he threw it to the side. And he said, "He's trying to make peace with me." He said something else, but I won't quote it now. He said, "He's offering me his jewels to make peace with me." Well, when he hit that and I mentioned it again, He said, yes, brother. He said, Allah has shown you the mind of his and my worst enemy. And then he looked at me and said, brother, did you know that you were an angel? I said, no, sir, dear apostle. But he's dropping stuff. There was a movie that came out. It talked about the Pope, his jewels. And when the movie was shown, they showed the very room that I saw. It's true, it's true. And I know when you say things like this to people who may have had an experience similar, because you are God's people, and sometimes you can see things not with these eyes and hear things not with these ears, and you don't know how you saw or heard what you saw or what you heard, and sometimes it frightens you. I'm going to tell you one more experience that I had. It was in 1964. The rebellion in the nation had already taken place, and the son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came out against his father, and there was a writing in Sepia magazine. And I shouldn't repeat these words, but it was condemning his domestic life. I will not repeat the words, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when you repeat the slander of a slanderer more than 3 times, you are a part of that slander. Listen. I was so grieved over my mentor, Malcolm X, departing from Elijah Muhammad, and grieved at his son who went against his father. Those of us who loved the father and loved Wallace D. Muhammad at that time, we were hurting inside. I laid down in my bed. I was the minister in Boston, Massachusetts. And I rose right up out of my body. I never left my home at 37 Intervale Street in Boston, Massachusetts. But I could see myself flying over the highways, coming to Chicago. And when I got to Chicago in the spirit, I went to 4847 South Woodlawn Avenue on the 3rd floor where Wallace's bedroom was, and Elijah Muhammad was sitting on the bed crying. And I never heard a man cry like he cried that night. It was a cry that was coming deep from within himself, and over again he said, my son, my son, my son. I'm at the window looking at him and listening to him. And I said, dear apostle, I will be your son. He never turned to acknowledge what I said or my presence. So I left that window, went on back to Boston, and got back in my body. I mean, I know the enemy gonna say I'm crazy, but damn it, today, wait a minute, I challenge all of them. Meet me anywhere. God has made someone today that will defeat you all.